This expanded deck is so powerful it can take you on a huge win streak. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game online deck tech, and today I wanted to make another expanded format video. I love the expanded format, and I think it has really cool card combinations you just can't achieve in standard. And today I wanted to cover Stefan Ivanov. I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce his name. Correct me if I am wrong, but his Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX deck in expanded. This deck is absolutely insane. I went on a 15+ game win streak with this deck on the PTCGO ladder, versing everything from ADP to Reshazard to a bunch of different random decks, but this deck is super consistent, it is super powerful, and it has all the tools necessary to basically win any matchup. Now, I know what you're thinking, Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX isn't that good in standard. What makes it so much better in expanded? Well, I'm going to go over all that right now. First, Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, in case you don't know what it does, Max Geist for 3 colorless, does 10 plus 30 more for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And its ability, Underworld Door, lets you attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench psychic Pokemon and draw 2 cards. So very powerful ability, and there's a lot of ways where we can power up our Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, play a 4/4 line, and get them super powered up really quickly, and then just destroy anything in our path. So, first and foremost, we need to talk about, we have a 4/4 Shadow Rider line, Gengar and Mimikyu GX. This Pokemon is really what makes this deck so strong. With the Horror House GX attack for a single psychic energy, your opponent can't play any cards from their hand during their next turn. And if you happen to get at least 1 extra psychic energy on it, each player draws cards until they have 7 cards in their hand. Now, most of the time you just want to get that single psychic energy on it so you can use Horror House and basically stop your opponent from having a turn. That's really the whole purpose of this deck. And that allows you to evolve all of your Shadow Riders into Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX and start using Underworld Door to attach more energy. Now, we have a couple other ways to slow our opponent down so we can go speed up and eventually overtake them in the game. We have a 1/1 line of Alolan Grimer and Alolan Muck with the power of Alchemy ability. Each basic Pokemon in play, in each player's hand, and in each player's discard pile has no abilities. This is a very important card because it stops cards from Tapu Lele GX or Dedenne GX or Crobat V or Jirachi EX. It stops all those cards' abilities from functioning. Speaking of, we do play 1 Tapu Lele GX in here, and ideally you want to get this into play earlier so you can use Wonder Tag, find yourself a supporter like a Researcher and N, or even your Guzma to do exactly whichever function you need at that specific point. That's basically why we have the 1-of Tapu Lele GX in here. It is just very important. However, you got to be careful because we also play 2 copies of Silent Lab, which is the same as Alolan Muck's ability in a stadium. So you can just play this down and stop all your opponents, all basic Pokemon from having abilities, which really hurts the speed of some other decks. Now, the other card I want to talk about is Lunala Prism Star. This has the Full Moon Star attack for a single psychic energy. For each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, attach a psychic energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. This is a very good setup card if your opponent has a really big bench and you're able to discard a lot of energies really quickly, thanks to the likes of Quick Ball or Mysterious Treasure, which has you discard any card from your hand and search for a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon. In our case, it's just going to be Psychic. And now, other than that, the list is pretty straightforward. We have 2 Field Blower to get rid of any Float Stones or any other stadiums like Chaotic Swell or anything like that. We have 4 Fog Crystal to search for energy or our basic Psychic Pokemon. We have an Ordinary Rod in case we need to recover anything, 2 Quick Ball, 3 Trainer's Mail because we can look at the top 4 cards of our deck and put a Trainer's card we find there that's not Trainer's Mail into our hand, so it's really good to get any supporters or our float stones. We also have 3 Versus Seeker in the deck, just to put our supporter from our discard pile into our hand. Very good card to use. We can reuse multiple supporters that we have 1 of, like Acerola, which allows us to put one of our Pokemon that has damage counters on it and all cards attached to it into our hand, so we can just basically scoop up a Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX that's been hit into with all its energy, play the Shadow Rider V back onto the board, and then use our other Underworld Doors from our other Shadow Riders to put that energy back into play and draw a bunch of cards. We also have one Guzma in here, which is basically a boss's orders, but also switches your Pokemon. Very, very strong card. We have a Mallow in here as well. This is also a very crucial card to the deck. Search your deck for 2 cards, shuffle your deck, and put those cards on top of it in any order. The good thing is you can essentially guarantee what you're going to draw into with Underworld Door, which is very, very powerful. We also have 1 Marnie and 2 N, just so we can disrupt our opponent and shuffle instead of just discard draw, and 4 Professor's Research, 3 Floatstone, and 13 Psychic Energy. That is essentially the deck right here. I'm super excited to go into action, so we're going to hop onto the ladder and see if we can get some great games. My opponent calling the coin flip here. Let's see what they will get and what we will get as well. If I'm going to say Tails never fails, you can go second with this deck, but it's much better going first because you can guarantee basically your Shadow Rider VMAXs on the second turn because there's so much draw power in Expanded, and Shadow Rider itself gives you a lot of draw, so you can kind of just draw through your entire deck and get your Shadow Riders into play. But we'll see what my opponent decides to call here. Tails never fails, as I always say, and we are going to go first. Now, see what we get here. Starting Tapu Lele is not great, I will say. Not a very fun time. However, looks like they're playing some Dracozolt. That'll be interesting. We're gonna have to take some big knockouts really quick. We'll draw a bunch more cards. My opponent's gonna play the Dracozolt. Now we really need to get a lot going. We need to get a lot going here. We're gonna we have a 3/3 line of Shadow Rider, which is good. We can play this down. We can Mysterious Treasure away. Muck is not gonna do us any good. We'll grab another Shadow Rider. Now we can use Trainer's Mail to grab ourselves an N for next turn. That's good. 2 Shadow Rider in play, I'm pretty happy with. Put down Silent Lab in case they have any buffoonery, and that is going to be our turns. We can get another attachment off, and we will be able to use Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, hopefully. Getting that Primeval Beak, that's it. Now, we can't attach to Tapu Lele, which is fine. We draw another Shadow Rider. We'll just attach to the bench, and then we're going to end. I mean, with enough luck, we can take a knockout this turn. It doesn't look like we get there, though. We have actually a very unfortunate hand. We're going to play Gengar Mimikyu down. We will put the Floatstone on Tapu Lele. And we could, it would have been nice to just, you know, Horror House here if I saved that energy, but I got a little bit too cocky and confident that we would find our Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. So we're going to just suffer because of that. And we can kind of just Shadow Miss, but I don't really want to take the 6 damage, so we're just going to leave this Tapu Lele in play. Get rid of that Bursting Balloon, and now my opponent is going to be able to get into Dracozolt VMAX, which really, really sucks. That is very unfortunate. I should have saved it and used the Horror House GX. I really should have. Putting another Bursting Balloon on the Dracozolt, and now they're going to start Spark Trapping us, and it's going to be a challenge to actually knock out this Dracozolt. But if they don't have any disruption cards, and I don't think they have any actual disruption. Oh, wow. Triple Accelerate. Oh, wow. They can actually knock out our Tapu Lele this turn. That's insane. Wow. Okay, I didn't expect that. That's interesting. Dracozolt seems to be really fun and expanded, I will say. Now, fortunately for us, we're going to bring up Gengar Mimikyu. They have to discard that, and we can utilize Horror House. So we're going to attach an energy, and just going to Juniper this away. Unfortunately, we have to get rid of our Versus Seekers. And no energy in the hand as well. This is being very, very challenging. I'm going to save the Field Blower. That could be very useful. We'll get rid of Grimer with Mysterious Treasure. We'll at the very least get our army of Shadow Riders into play. No energy is so unfortunate, though. I don't really know what I could say to that. Get another Shadow Rider VMAX. And we're just going to have to Horror House here and just kind of hope for a decent draw after. We're literally just going to Horror House GX. So my opponent can't play any cards. The Bursting Balloon is gone. That's 2 of them gone. And now they're just going to have to Spark Trap us. That's basically all they can do, which I'm okay with. In this scenario, that is completely fine. We get Lunala. That's not very good. We can't really do anything right here. This is actually very, very strange. There's not much we can do. If one has another Triple Acceleration, they can actually knock out our Gengar Mimikyu here. So I'm going to go into Lunala. I'll put a Floatstone on it. And I'll actually retreat into it. And then we're going to pass. because I don't want our what's it called? Our Gengar Mimikyu getting knocked out. They have Tag Call too, so you can get Guzmahalas, and they can actually find the triple acceleration energy with Guzmahala. So good thing we did retreat. They're probably going to take a knockout on Lunala GX. You're getting Path of the Peak, Bursting Balloon, and Triple Acceleration. You know, that's all well and good. We have Field Blower in hand. We just need to draw an energy, and we will be okay. Max Impact coming out, knocking out our Lunala, Prism Star. Now, this is the challenge. We need to find an energy or a draw supporter. We do find the energy, thankfully, thanks to Fog Crystal. Now we can Field Blower away these two pesky little cards. And boom. Underworld Door number 1, we can power up this. Oh, Underworld Door number 2, we can power up this Shadow Rider. Underworld Door number 3, we can power it up again. And we have Research and Marnie. We're going to play Silent Lab, and I think the best call is just a straight Juniper here. Getting another attachment would be very nice, which we can get right now. We can attach to this Shadow Rider. We can use Trainer's Mail. We will grab a Guzma. And I think we will... Let's just Fog Crystal, thin our deck a little bit more. Ordinary Rod. Put some stuff back in there. We'll put back in Lele, and then we'll put back in an energy. That's fine. I don't really want to clog up the deck too much. And my opponent just concedes just like that. Shadow Rider. We had a really tricky start, but Shadow Rider was enough to overwhelm my opponent and eventually win the game. My opponent calling the coin flip here. The Team Plasma coin. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, we lost. They're going to get to choose who goes first, and they're going to end up going first. So we're going to see what we get here. A mulligan. This would have been a very bad hand if we kept it, so I am not too upset about that mulligan over here. We are going to just shuffle our hand back into our deck and draw a fresh 7 cards. This hand is okay. It's actually not that bad. We can even Super Poison Breath to just kind of start getting a little bit of damage on our opponent. We can get 3 basic Pokemon, basically. And we're going to be going second too, which means we can N as well. It's good. Sableye V, haven't seen that in a while. Darkrai V in Expanded. Oh, this could be very, very, very interesting. I'm going to grab a Max Elixir. Very powerful card. Could actually be good in this deck too. To look at the top 6 and attach a basic energy to one of your basic Pokemon, I believe. On your bench. I have 2 Max Elixirs in hand, but failing the other one. Crobat V coming out to draw themselves 3 cards. This is where we have the Silent Lab Ether coming out, not going to really do much, and they're going to pass. So, our Grimer's probably going to get knocked out next turn, but we actually have a pretty okay hand here. So we're going to discard this N with our Quick Ball. We'll grab a Shadow Rider, put it onto the bench. We can Mysterious Treasure away a Verse Seeker. Grab another Shadow Rider, put it onto the bench. We'll grab a Fog Crystal here, and unfortunately, Gengar Mimikyu is not in the deck, which is fine. We'll just grab another Shadow Rider and put that onto the bench. We can attach this energy here, and then just Versus Seeker, grab the N, and we can end our opponent's hand, so they have to shuffle it away, see what we can get here. We get Muck, which would have been good if we can retreat this Grimer, but we unfortunately can't, which is okay. We're going to Trainer's Mail. Maybe we'll get a... We don't get anything, but we do get a Quick Ball. Now... Interesting. I feel like this Grimer is going to die, but I think we can just kind of get rid of Acerola for now. And grab Tapu Lele for next turn. And then we're just going to Super Poison Breath. Do we get heads? We don't even get heads, so we can't do anything against my opponent. It's okay. Next turn, I think we might be able to knock out this Sableye if all goes in our favor. But we'll have to see what happens. My opponent going to play a Quick Ball, discarding a Darkness Energy. And they're going to put maybe another Darkrai into play. Maybe in... Oh, they're going to grab another Crobat. Another really, really unfortunate misplay here is not getting that Silent Lab, because they can just keep Crobatting and drawing more cards. That's what really, really sucks. But my opponent is going to get the Crazy Claws off. Unfortunately, for them, I kind of forgot that, what's it called? Alolan Grimer isn't weak to Dark. So they're going to actually not be able to KO with that. I think they might have forgot either as well. Oh, they're going to get 2 Max Elixirs back. Very powerful card. just play another Max Elixir, maybe get another energy. But it has to be onto a benched basic, so it's not going to actually be able to serve this Darkrai, and they might not be able to attack here. They're going to get another energy onto Crobat V, which is good. Unless they find an energy switch thanks to Crobat V's Dark Asset ability, drawing 4 cards. But they're going to play a Quick Ball, getting rid of Darkness Energy, and probably playing another Darkrai into play. Oh, Galarian Slowking, that's a bit interesting. So this is kind of like a Darkbox style deck in Expanded, which is really, really neat. Galarian Slowking with the Word of Ruin attack, which basically knocks out the defending Pokemon next turn. And it has Max Toxify as the VMAX's attack. And they're going to switch into Sableye and probably load Search if I were to take a guess, because Crazy Claws wouldn't really do anything, yeah. So they're going to load Search here and grab, I'm guessing, another Max Elixir. Oh, a Dark Patch. Makes more sense if they have Dark Energy in the discard. And we are able to finally utilize Alolan Muck here. Now, I should have played the Tapu Lele first. That is a misplay on my part for sure. But we can at least use Mallow and guarantee that we get a Shadow Rider next turn. And what else do we need? We should get a Research first. Then the next card should be a Shadow Rider. And then I will just attach this energy to Shadow Rider Calyrex feet, and then pass. I should have used Tapu Lele there. That was a really big misplay on my part. So we're gonna see what happens here. They are able to retreat the Sableye. Alolan Muck's got 120 HP, so they need 3 Dark Energy in play in order to pull this off. I think they will be able to take out our Alolan Muck, which, I mean, it would have been good. You know, they can get Piers, but they won't be able to actually draw anything with another Crobat V. So if that's what they're searching for. But they do have the Max Toxify Galarian Slowking into play. They're going to Piers, and I don't know. Do they know that they can't draw with Crobat? That could foil their entire plan here. We'll see. Oh, they get Hisuian Samurott. Interesting. So they might go for the Max Toxify here and just straight up knock out our Alolan Muck, which is okay. But my opponent has a pretty dead hand. And we're going to have a really good hand coming up. So I am not too concerned about that. They're going to retreat into Galarian Slowking and go for the Max Toxify. 10 damage. Going to be doing 12 damage from Poison, or 120 damage from Poison, I should say. Knocking out our Alolan Muck. Now, Shadow Rider Calyrex it's its time. Time to shine here. We have Research. We're just going to research the hand away. We don't really need anything. And we get a really, really nice hand. So we are going to go ahead and evolve 2 of our Shadow Riders. We will Fog Crystal, grab ourselves some energy, because we don't want to draw it back into them if we can avoid that. That's really the game plan here. Now, I mean, it's possible we can Size Storm here and maybe knock out this Galarian Slowking. We essentially need, what, 15? No. I mean, 15 energy would really be the one that knocks out. We can't even, like, one-shot it. We don't even have 15 energy, so we're just not even going to bother with that. We're just going to attach this Shadow Rider and draw. We will Underworld Door to this Shadow Rider and draw some more. And we have Silent Lab, which is really good. We can put that right into play. Attach an energy there. And then we're going to go for the Max Geist for a solid 160 damage. 2-shot range here for this Galarian Slowking, and they need another energy to retreat it. Now, we're going to have to wait and see what they get. And they're going to get that other energy, so they plan on retreating, it looks like. But what do they have in their hand that they can actually use? They have a Dark Patch, okay. It's getting a little scary for our Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX in the active spot. But we'll see what they decide to do here. They're just going to Dark Pulse. That's not going to knock us out quite yet. And we have Acerola in the discard pile. So we have a trick up our sleeves. The first play is we Underworld Door, right? Underworld Door to this and draw. Now we can Versus Seeker, grab ourselves Acerola, and we can put this Shadow Rider back into our hand, bring up our other one, bench it, and then boom, our other Shadow Rider comes into play. Now we can Underworld Door to this Shadow Rider, And we can Underworld. Actually, first we'll have Mysterious Treasure. Get rid of a Juniper. I should have probably done this first and evolved the other one, but that's okay. Underworld Door to this Shadow Rider. 14 cards left in deck. We're really churning through it. If another Mysterious Treasure, we can play that, get rid of this Juniper, and just thin our deck a little bit more. And now we can play an Energy. And I think that's all we can do. We kind of don't want to discard anything else here. So now the play will just have to be Max Geist. We're not going to be able to quite knock this Pokemon out. 190 damage, but it puts it in within Lunala Prism range. This Galarian Slowking is in 2-shot range, so they really need a lot in order to take the KO here. Well, not really. They just need an Energy, which they kind of found. So they have 5 Energy. Yeah, they have enough to knock us out here in 1 shot, taking 3 prizes, but we can take out this Darkrai, and they don't have another one ready to go. And none of our Pokemon are going to have existing damage counters. So that is very, very good for us. Gonna bring this Shadow Rider up. And we actually have N. We can end them down to 2 next turn as well. So I am, you know what, I'm very excited, I will say. We're going to Underworld Door to this Shadow Rider. We are going to, actually, first we'll Trainer's Mail. We'll grab a Float Stone. We will play the Float Stone here, and we'll play it here as well. We'll do another Trainer's Mail, and we'll grab a Fog Crystal. We can use this Fog Crystal to grab another Energy. And now we can Underworld Door once again to the Shadow Rider. And then we can attach the Energy here. And now we can do everybody's favorite, N. We'll end our opponent down to 2 cards, drawing 6 more. And we still have the Marnie in there. We got a lot of energy. Another Shadow Rider VMAX is good in case we get our Shadow Rider off the prizes. There we go. Boom. 190 damage onto the Darkrai VSTAR. What are we going to hit? Ordinary Rod is actually good to put more cards into our deck. And Shadow Rider Calyrex V is also very, very good. We can get another attacker powered up. Unfortunately, we are through all our Versus Seekers, so getting another one to utilize would be nice. But that's okay. If my opponent has like a Crobat VMAX or something up their sleeve, that would really suck. But in a 1-card hand, they can't really have too much. Now can they? They're just going to Venomous Fang us for 140 damage. And we are actually going to be able to retreat, which is really nice. Thanks to our Float Stone here. But we can play this other... Is it even worth playing the other Shadow Rider down in this situation? I don't know if it is. First and foremost, we are just going to Ordinary Rod. We'll put back... I mean, we can put back... I don't know, we don't really have anything else in the deck. Like, we don't need Lele. We'll just put back the other Shadow Riders. Or even, no, we'll put back the Grammar and the Monk. That's what we'll do. We'll put back 2 energy. And now, on Mysterious Treasure. This is a dilemma. I don't think we need this other Shadow Rider. It's just another boss target, basically. I don't want to risk that because it can get knocked out pretty quickly. So, I'm just going to go ahead. We'll Underworld Door this energy. We'll just put him on Lunala for now. So we can even Psystorm after. And then I will use the second Underworld Door on Lunala again. We have Grammar. We'll play Grammar down. We will attach this energy here. And now I think we can kind of just Marnie. Yeah, we're just going to Marnie. Put those cards back at the bottom and draw 5, so we have more to work with here. I mean, hey, our deck is really thin, but we can at least recycle the cards. And now we're going to retreat into our other Shadow Rider. Or actually, oh no, it would have been nice to attack with Lunala, but we can't. So we're retreating into our other Shadow Rider. And we were just going to Max Geist and knock out this Crobat V. 280 damage. And now we've essentially secured a victory unless my opponent can somehow get a crazy power up next turn. We have Guzma in hand, which is really good. We can just Guzma anything and knock it out. My opponent can bring up Galarian Slowking VMAX, but it can't actually knock out our Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. My opponent is just going to kind of whiff their Ether. They're gonna Evo Incense here, maybe for a Darkrai VSTAR. They've already used the VSTAR power though, so there's not much they can do with Star Abyss, unless they have a bunch of items at their disposal to already power it up. It looks like they're going to whiff that Trainer's Mail and just attach an energy for Max Toxify, and that is going to be the game here. Only doing 20 damage, 12 damage counters. My opponent giving us the well played. It was a challenging match, especially against a dark typing, but we're going to attach this energy, and we don't really have to do much else. We can Underworld Door to this Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. and my opponent's just gonna scoop. We should have just taken the knockout. That's okay. We already had that in the bag. Our Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX deck taking the dub against a Darkbox in Expanded with Ether and Dark Patch. That's a very scary matchup to do, but we have done it. So what do you think of this Expanded Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX deck? I think this deck is very, very strong. It's very, very powerful, and it's really, it doesn't lose to a lot of things. Like something, if your opponent can turn off all your abilities, this deck could have a tough time. But if you slow down your opponent enough, you can absolutely decimate them and just go insane and run through their entire deck. Now, some changes I might make to this deck are adding a Hisuian Heavy Ball, because we had a lot of one-of Pokemon. We got Gengar Mimikyu, one of Grimer Muck, one of Lunala, one of Lele. So having that Hisuian Heavy Ball to get your one-ofs is very, very strong. Another card I might add is Roxanne. I think Roxanne could be really good. Just Roxanneing your opponent to 2 after they knock out a Shadow Rider. Or even another Versus Secret could be helpful, so you can get back another Acerola or Guzma, you know, if in case you discard them early on, because we play 4 Research. That's our primary draw supporter. But other than that, I don't really think there's much else that I would change. This list is very fun to play, and it's very, very strong. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts on this expanded deck. I love making expanded content, so I'm going to continue to make it. I think it's really, really cool and really fun, and offers a different look at the game. So give me a feedback on the expanded content. I've been getting some really good feedback since my last expanded video, so I'm very, very grateful and happy for that. And subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on an upload. Turn on the notification bell to always get notified of these uploads, because I upload twice a week, every week, always Pokemon TCG content. And with all that said and done, Hitmonchanning out.